Hello and welcome to another Dragonstorm Studios video. Happy 2022! I am hoping for such a great year, not only in terms of art, not only in terms of Magic the Gathering, but also just for the world in general. We could use a good year. So to begin this one, I thought we're going to continue from last year's tradition of doing a top 10 art from Magic the Gathering 2021. So just a couple of points before we begin. First of all, this list is only going to cover the 5 standard sets that came out in 2021, which were of course Kaldheim, Strixhaven, Adventures in the Forgotten Realms, Innistrad Midnight Hunt, and Innistrad Crimson Vow. We are only covering the regular cards that came out, so I'm not looking at any of the alternate art, none of the secret layers that came out, none of the supplemental products that came out. Otherwise, this list would either be enormously large instead of top 10, or it would just have the alternate art dragons and the alternate art lands from the D&D set and the Innistrad sets, because they were absolutely beautiful and it wouldn't be fair for their cards. I also tried to keep it so that only 2 cards were from each set, from those 5 sets, and that way I wasn't biased too much toward Kaldheim and the Northern Lights that were in a lot of the art, or the beautiful Gothic art from Innistrad. So try to keep it a bit more fair that way. With that being said, let's begin our list. For number 10, I have chosen Combat Professor in Strixhaven by Andrei Kaczynski. The reason is largely due to the fact that Aven, or bird humanoids, are really difficult to draw with proportions and any kind of detail. Yet here we have an epic pose and what I believe is a bird cleric dual wielding swords. Just the fact they're able to get that look to be achieved is incredible. The number 9 pick is Hive of the Eye Tyrant. This creature land from Adventures in the Forgotten Realm has a beholder hidden within its negative space, which almost acts as a magic eye image from the 2000s. I remember the sense of wonder I got from seeing it for the first time. Painted by Johann Voss, it is a very effective and powerful image. At number 8, I have Poppet Factory. This is a piece by Simon Dominic, which could easily have been played safe, but the artist took several risks, which makes the work really stand out. The machine is churning out creepy doll things, which are unique and wonderfully creepy. They could have just all been the same, but they're not. They have personality. Although it is a busy scene, everything works, and the eye is guided around the image by cords and conduits to machinery and conveyor belts. Despite the grimy, lived-in look of the factory, everything is clear and identifiable. For number 7, I chose Stromkirk Blood Thief by Carolyn Gariba. This dynamic pose and detailed scene stands out. You can almost imagine the tale behind the scene, making up a whole story of a heist behind the one image. It is striking and it is memorable. Sarah Finnegan brings us Storm-Carved Coast for number 6. Lands hold a special place in my art appreciating heart. The billowing clouds, the striking lightning, the sheer cliff, and the roiling waves create a sense of cold and stormy weather. This land evokes a coastal region on the plain of Innistrad beautifully. You know a werewolf had to be on this list somewhere. And for number 5, I have selected Hollowhenge Huntmaster by Hyunwha Ko. I hope I pronounced that correctly. The pose, the memorable albino wolf form, the savagery of the expression make this piece grab your attention, and it refuses to let go. I really enjoy the use of scale and proportion, making this work clear and easily accessible to the viewer. Number 4's Forging the Tyrite Sword by Kieran Yanner is deceptive because the card frame is so different. A saga has the artwork forced to the side, making the border and text more prominent. When viewed in isolation, the detail and the color is allowed to shine unimpeded. From a rich and effective color scheme to the textured background, the image is gorgeously rendered and instantly recognizable. Also by Kieran Yanner, number 3 is Confront the Past. Now, here I must allow some of my personal bias to break through, as this selection depicts the internal struggle that Liliana faces. She is dealing with the memory of Gideon's sacrifice at the end of War of the Spark. This image does evoke feelings in the viewer as well as the subject, which are difficult to fully express if you're unfamiliar with the lore. Suffice it to say, this affected me personally on a deep level. As we near the end of the list, number 2 is Dragon's Fire by Campbell White. When the art is once again seen in isolation, the detail of the treasure hoard, the breath weapon, the body of the dragon are striking. It's just not able to be seen in the card by itself. It's just too small. The flames are vividly shown and distance is expertly conveyed through fore, mid, and background. It is a unique composition, almost as if we are witnesses or an accomplice to that poor fellow at the left of the scene. At number 1, I have the Prismatic Bridge. It's rare that a card elicits an audible response from me, but upon seeing this image, I gasped, literally. The rich colors of the sky, the pose of the figure, the perspective with the trees just lent themselves to a glorious scene of wonder. Despite the silhouette, some details are actually visible, for example, in the braids. And I remember this being the loading screen for Magic the Gathering Arena, which allowed me to get an up-close and personal view of this powerful piece of art. I hope you enjoyed this video where we looked at my picks for the top 10 pieces of art from standard sets, regular cards, Magic the Gathering 2021. If you are surprised by any of my choices, maybe I convinced you that some of them are legitimately top 10 material, please let me know down in the comments which ones you liked. Or if you think there are cards I left off the list, please let me know what your thoughts are down below.